It's really nice to be up here among progressive labor types. You know, in D.C., the grand bargain, you have a lot of people, including a lot of people who think of themselves as liberals, left of center, who think a grand bargain really makes a lot of sense. And, you know, one of the things that's become common in D.C. debates to say is, well, it's a question of, you know, are we going to, you know, support the elderly or support our children? And, you know, it really is kind of an incredible framing. I mean, there are people who are, you know, on the face of it, not particularly right-wing and, you know, for the most part, not particularly stupid. You know, it is kind of an incredible framing. And one of the things I remember, I said, wait a second, this is close to absurd. And I went and got a slide, actually someone else had put together, it was a few years old, and I got data from, you know, the other wealthy countries, the OECD countries. And what you find is that the countries that spend the most on the elderly, guess what? They also spend the most on their kids. So we put that up, we did a blog post on that, and then I had someone send me an email go, well, you know, that's from the late 90s. Okay. So we went and looked, and guess what? It's even stronger if you get the more recent data. You know, basically the story is that countries that care for their people, if you have governments that, you know, are caring for their people, whether they're old or young, they generally don't make a difference. And of course the logic, I mean, again, one of these things I find incredible, the logic of this pitting old against young is I'm always wondering what sort of families do these people grow up in? I mean, it is just very strange. I mean, I don't know a lot of people. I mean, I know people have problems with their parents or vice versa. I have problems with their kids. But, you know, the idea that, you know, the parents, the grandparents are going to be wealthy and the kids can't afford, you know, the basics, that just doesn't, that's not my experience growing up. It wasn't my friend's experience. That's just very strange. And we have data on this. It's a purely practical matter. A lot of times the grandparents are living with the kids. You know, so it's, you know, that's less common maybe for more upper income people, but in a lot of cases, low, moderate income people, it's a single household. You take away the grandparent's Social Security check, that affects the kid very directly. So the whole notion, you know, again, this is common in Washington. I don't know how far it's spread outside the country, but it's a pretty warped story. So hopefully we can change the nature of the debate.